Hi.
All right, we are joined by Lauren Miller. If you have a question, go ahead and use the raise hand function and I will call on you. Joe?
Lauren, was this a statement game for you guys, considering that, beginning of the week, you were on the number 3 seeding line among the top 16 teams and kind of get a decisive victory here?
Yeah, I think definitely Coach Cori has really been challenging us to treat these last couple games as a dress rehearsal, as she's calling it. And just, we really want to get ready for the tournaments. And we want to really showcase our best foot, but mostly just prepare ourselves for what's coming.
John?
Yeah, congrats on the win. That first half you guys scored, I think, the second highest you guys have in a conference game this year. What was going on offensively in that first half, or what did you see?
Yeah, I think honestly, you just saw a lot of aggression from just a bunch of different people at that point. And so I think that was great. You saw us shooting the ball well, attacking the basket, but it was just such a diverse group of people who were scoring the ball. And it was definitely harder for them to guard and keep up with when you had so many different threats in that first half, especially.
Michelle?
Yeah, could you talk a little bit just about how good it seemed like your defense was tonight? It seemed like, you guys were letting them or having them take the shots probably you wanted them to take, as opposed to the ones they wanted to take in some circumstances.
Yeah, our coaches have really been challenging us just to do more and to fight for more in defense. And they've constantly been saying that even in our wins, that there's more in us and that we haven't been showing our best foot defensively. And so I think we definitely took pride this week in getting better and denying touches and just like you said, dictating more, not letting people put us on our heels as much and really making people take the tough contested shots we want them to take and then get the rebounds.
Thank you.
Joe, go ahead.
That's the best rebounding game this team has played since you've been here?
Yeah, I would say so. It just felt like every board was just coming right to us and we were fighting and scrapping. And we usually track our percentages just so we can push ourselves and hold ourselves to a standard. And so even at the half, we just really realized we'd been doing a good job to get on the glass on both ends. And we definitely talked to each other at halftime not to settle for that. And just to keep scrapping, getting a tip and having someone else run it down and boxing out so your teammate can run that rebound down. But we definitely made sure that it was a team effort on the glass tonight for sure.
Sue?
Hey, Lauren, congratulations on your big game, girl. I'm sorry if this has been asked already, but what did it mean to you guys to have 9 bodies ready? Did that make a difference in how you guys approached the game? Because I mean, clear, it's been a minute since you've had that many people available.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't know if we prepared any different just because, like we've said, we've really tried to hold ourselves to the standard of whatever we've got is all that we need. But I just think like the joy just to see each other be healthy. We even this week during practice kind of talked about how good it felt just to have all of us out there together because it has been a long time to have even 9 people together. So definitely grateful for that. And yeah, it was definitely fun to get to all be out there together.
Thank you very much.
Any more questions for Lauren? Thanks, Lauren.
Thanks.
All right, we are joined by Chantal Horvat. If you have any questions, go ahead and use your raise hand function and I will call on you.
How you all doing?
Francis?
Hi, congrats on the win, first of all. So you guys' games with Oregon are, in the past few years especially, like always kind of back and forth and like go down to the wire. Like what kind of allowed you guys to kind of control it, especially straight from the start, so you guys kind of hit all your shots early on?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of healthy competition out there whenever we play Oregon, but we just knew preparing for this game that we had to be the tougher, more together team, and we had to dominate the boards, dominate on defense, and just play harder than them. And I think we really did do that today, and we showed just how tough we can be and what a great team we can be. And it was really fun being out there with the girls.
Joe?
Chantal, is this a big statement win for you guys? Because started out the week, you're ranked 8th, but on that seeding line, you're a 3rd seed. 27-point win against Oregon is going to raise a lot of eyebrows.
Yeah, honestly, we don't pay a whole lot of attention to rankings, and we just know that we've got a job to do and we want to be playing our best basketball right now. It's coming towards the end of the season, and this is where we want to be playing our best. And yeah, so we're just trying to play hard every game, and if we move up in the rankings, that's great, but if not, we're not letting that distract us. We've got our games that we're focusing on and making sure that we're focusing in on that.
Joe, go ahead.
Just with the rebounding tonight, what was the biggest difference? Because I think it was you had a 24 board advantage, and it seemed like you held them to a lot of one shots tonight.
Yeah, that was one of our keys going into this game. We just knew that we had to be tougher on the rebounds. I think last game, it was pretty even with the rebounding count, and that was something that helped us in the last game. So we knew that had to be really strong this game. So we focused in on that. That was something we prepared for, and we just knew we had to be tough on the boards. And I think we did a good job of that tonight.
Any more questions for Chantal? John, go ahead.
Yeah, congrats on the win. The offense looked like the ball was flowing a lot. Everyone was shooting. I think you guys had 5, 6 players in double figures today. Can you kind of talk about like the balanced scoring today?
Yeah, we had a really great game today with just balancing out the scorers. I think our team chemistry is really great, and we all have faith in each other. We've got a team full of amazing players. It's not just a couple of people that can score. So we know that if we get great ball movement, we're going to get great shots and great looks for multiple people. And I think we took advantage of that tonight. We did a good job of getting everyone open looks. And I think the girls took advantage of those open looks, and it ended up being a really even scoring game. So that was really good. And it's always fun to see your teammates put some points up on the board.
Any more questions for Chantal? Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
All right, lastly, we have head coach Cori Close. Coach, would you like to begin with an opening statement?
Well, I think before the game, Coach Tony really challenged our team that we hadn't really put 40 minutes together yet. We hadn't executed a game plan and really taken people out of what they wanted to do for a full 40. And he said, you're prepared to do it. You can do it, but you got to go choose it and you got to go live it. And so just really, really proud of our balance. And I thought that it started with Lauren Miller, her steadiness, her leadership, her defense, her rebounding, and also Lindsay Cusaro. I thought she had so many key defensive rebounds. Her stat line was ridiculous in that way. I think she had 7 rebounds, and she just was so steady for us. And I thought that really set the tone. But our toughness and our balance, I thought we said it was going to come down to the rebounding battle, toughness battle, and transition battle. Those three areas. We had to win those three things to win the game. And I thought we did that. And so, and I just think Oregon is a tremendous basketball program, period. And so obviously this win means a lot because we have so much respect for them. And they're really talented. And I thought they played their best team game against Stanford last weekend. Whether, you know, they lost is, I text Kelly early in the weekend, said, I just think you guys are playing tremendous basketball. And you know, he's a really good coach, and their team is going to be, I wouldn't want to play them in the NCAA tournament. Let's put it that way. I just think they're going to continue to get better. They're going to learn from every experience, and they'll get after it. But my point being is that this means a lot because of the respect we have for them. And Kelly's a great coach, and they have a really, really good team. And so I'm really proud of the way our team executed in light of that.
Tarek, go ahead.
Coach, the first quarter, I mean, is that the closest thing to a near perfect quarter? 9 field goals, 9 assists, 56% from the field, 6 from 11 from 3. Can you just talk about how great it was going, and then the route was on after that, really?
Well, you know, I think I didn't even know some of those stats, but I just thought we were being so physical. We were going to be the aggressors. We were forcing exactly the kind of shots we wanted to force. We were doing our work early. I thought our ability to make other people handle the ball and the full court pressure, I think it just, everything started on the defense at the end of the floor and the rebounding end. And then they just got their matchups mixed up, and then we hit early threes and, you know, out of those situations. And they changed their defenses a lot. They like to start out playing zone on mades and man on misses. And, you know, and I think that sometimes they got mixed up in their matchups, and that really helped us to be able to find the open three. And then it got us going, you know, from that standpoint. But I do love it when you have that many assists. That's what I really like, is that you're talking about team baskets, not just one person. And honestly, I thought that was the difference of this game, is that, you know, the first time, I'm of course thrilled we won, but 55 of our points came from 2 people. And this year, this time around was so much more balanced. And I think a lot of our players have come into their own about what it looks like for them to have winning plays.
Joe?
Cori, you guys had been ranked in the top 5 for most of the season, but you were on the number 3 seed line at the beginning of the week for the tournament. I mean, 27-point win against Oregon. This is good. You think this is going to raise some eyebrows as a statement win?
Well, I just think, you know, to be honest with you, I don't even want to give it a thought. I think more than ever, seed and numbers don't matter because we don't play at home. Everyone's going to neutral sites. I think matchups in the NCAA tournament are way more important. I hope that we continue to play better and better, and we earn as good of a seed as is justified. And I definitely think this doesn't hurt us. But actually, I was texting with Rebecca Lobo, and she was asking me about what I thought of the reveal and the seeds. And I just said, you know, more than any other year, it doesn't matter. And I think even to get distracted by it, I can't even think that way. I just want us to continue to be committed to getting better and bringing joy no matter what. But this doesn't hurt.
Michelle?
Yeah, Coach, for what it's worth, I think that's a pretty smart way to look at it. I've seen some people obsess over it, and I want to say, it's probably not worth it. So, but I wanted to ask this past week, when were you guys sort of back up to speed, if you will, or at least, you know, had enough people and knew for sure you could play? And what's that been like just as a coach? And I know you've talked a lot about it, but just dealing with that.
It has been, this was a really, someone asked me, I started to bounce in my step, and you know, actually it was my mom. She could even tell over the phone. She goes, she goes, man, well, you sound excited. And I go, this is the most enjoyable I've had, coaching the team the whole year. We've actually had enough people to actually prepare 5-on-5. It was like unbelievable. And so this was the most healthy we had been. It was the most players we'd had in practice. We had, full 9 scholarship players starting on Wednesday. And that was the first time that had happened all season long. So I definitely think it blew wind into our sails. I think none of us, I've not allowed, I think you've heard me say this before, I've not allowed any of us to talk about our numbers in our team settings. That's another thing I don't want to give my energy to. It's out of our control. But I could tell that it brought energy and blew wind into our sails this week. And so we did know on Wednesday that we were going to have a full complement if we stayed healthy that way. And it really was a whole lot of fun to coach them this week. And it's a big deal. It has been one of the most challenging things of my career in terms of just game planning, teaching, how do we creatively do this in a way that we've never done it before. And I've never prepared this way ever in my career. It's probably been really good for me as a teacher, but it has been my most challenging leadership year.
John, go ahead.
Yeah, Coach, congrats on the win. I think I asked you a few weeks ago about the rebounding margin, and you told me that you try not to look at that because it depends on missed shots. But I'm sure you're happy with the plus 23 rebounding margin tonight. So can you kind of talk a little bit about the rebounding?
Yeah, and just to stay consistent, on that, John, the reality is we also made our percentages. We had 80% of our defensive misses, and I think 60, or I don't know, I can't remember exactly, but we made both percentage numbers, so on the defensive end, as well as the offensive end, as well as the margin. So I really thought that absolutely set the tone for the game. It was the best box out game that we've had. And that was a real weakness of ours last year, was defensive rebounding. We had a list of 4 skills that we knew we had to get better at. And one of the other ones was post defense. And I thought our ability to make things difficult for Sabali tonight was really important as well. And so I thought we made a huge improvement step in 2 areas that we really needed to: defensive rebounding and post defense.
Joe?
Cori, was there any message at halftime or especially in the second half about keeping the throttle down for all 4 quarters? Because just looking back to that Arizona State game a couple weeks ago, there was the large lead and they came back and, with the team with the town of Oregon. Yeah,
I never felt secure at all. And, I tried just at every timeout. I was very animated at halftime, just like, are you satisfied? Is this all you want? Is one good half? I was a little bit sarcastic and definitely spirited at halftime, and just challenged them. Like, you guys have not lived out 40 minutes yet. And so who are you going to be, and really challenge them. And they stepped up, and they really did a nice job with that. And, but definitely, we've had a lot of games. Washington State was another one. We led by 16, late in the 4th. And so, I think that's been something, I think that's what you want as a coach, right? Is you want to grow from each experience, and you want to be different the next time you face it. And so that's really satisfying to watch them make different choices, to be able to respond. And we always talk about that. If you have a growth mindset, those scoring margins shouldn't matter. And that you're always thinking, how can I get better? How can I make a play for my team? And if you're being a total giver and making winning plays for the team, and you're doing a great job of having a growth mindset, then the margins really do take care of themselves. Is that hard to do? Absolutely. If it wasn't, you'd see a lot of other people doing it. You have to really choose discipline over your feelings and your sort of tendency to take a deep breath, like, phew, okay, we're all right. And you got to fight that, because that's human nature. But human nature is not going to get you very many good wins.
And then just double checking, Cameron Brown is okay, or?
I hope so. She definitely, I think, scared her more than anything. But we'll know more moving forward, but we're hopeful that she's okay. But I won't know for sure probably until tomorrow.
Okay. Thanks, Cori.
You bet. Thank you.
Francis, go ahead.
Hi, yeah, so you mentioned this earlier, but tonight's game was like a lot more balanced in terms of scoring, especially compared to the last game against Oregon. Is that something that's kind of like indicative of, like the type of performance that you want out of your team going forward?
Absolutely. And I had a long meeting with Emily and Natalie after the Washington State game and just said, look, y'all, we need to be able to count on you, and you need to be aggressive. You are skilled, and really challenge them to step up their aggression level and their scoring output, quite frankly. And not about making more shots. It's about using all the skills I've already know are in their toolbox on a more consistent basis. And I think they've really done that. It didn't work out as easily for Emily tonight, but I think that they've really taken that to heart. But there's several people that have. And I think, that's a really big key of how we've been playing our best basketball in March pretty consistently, is that I think the adoption and the buy-in to everyone's roles. But sometimes you got to grow your role throughout the year. And I think really understanding how they can grow their skill set, grow their mentality, make more winning plays for their team. And I told them in the locker room, like, it's not only good for our team to win games, but it's also fair, way more fair to Michaela and Charisma, so that, they don't feel like they have to produce like every night these big numbers for us to win. They shouldn't have to. And I think that's a huge piece for us moving forward, is staying tuned into how we have more of a balanced attack on a consistent basis. And I would say that this was not a great game. I thought Michaela shot it really well, but in terms of their best game, it wasn't Charisma's or Michaela's best game. And the fact that we had that big of a win, that tells us about who our team is becoming. And that's what's most important to me, as well as to Charisma and Michaela.
Michelle.
Yeah, Coach, forgive me if this got announced and I might have missed it from the Pac-12, but do you think you'll make up any of those games you lost in this next week, or are you still waiting to find that out?
Yeah, I don't think we are, actually. We had a meeting with the Pac-12 coaches on Tuesday, and I think, it's do we need to, right? And I think we have to have, is it best for your team? And is it best for the conference in terms of getting the most teams into the NCAA tournament? But as of right now, next week at least, I do think some games are going to be made up during the Pac-12 tournament time in Vegas. I think there'll be some extra games played. But to my knowledge, I don't think there's going to be any makeup games next week as we originally planned.
Oh, so they may try to make up a few while you guys are all in Vegas together.
Correct.
What are your thoughts on, a lot of coaches have sort of weighed in about conference tournaments and everything. What are your thoughts? I mean, obviously you guys are going to play it, but are there any concerns about it?
I'm always a company person, but if I'm being just really candid with y'all, like, I am a little bit nervous about it, especially for a team like ours. It feels like there could be a little bit more risk than reward. But at the same time, I usually am a huge proponent of them, because I feel like they're this really great dress rehearsal of intensity and focus and what is needed, and that one and done mentality that you need for the NCAA tournament. So I'm usually a really big proponent, and I think the student athletes really enjoy it. I think the Pac-12 does a phenomenal job with their Pac-12 tournament. But this is a weird year, right? And so, yes, if I'm being candid, am I nervous about it? Yes. There's a team like ours, we don't need it to make the NCAA tournament, but I also have to be a team player and go, you know what, maybe we'll get more teams from the Pac-12 in by playing it. So I have to be a team player that way. And the reality is we're playing it. So I might as well make the most of it, have a really good perspective about it, and find a way to help our team get better through it.
And forgive me, I don't want to detain you much longer, but I'm just wondering, did they give you some idea in terms of the games that might be played like adjacent to, if you will, the Pac-12 tournament, like when those would happen? Would both teams have to agree to it, or what might be the parameters?
Yeah, I think that both teams are going to have to agree to it, but all the coaches really agreed that we really trust our Teresa Gould and the Pac-12 administration. I think they're going to really they're excellent, and they work their tails off for us. And so we sort of said as a staff, or as a coaching group on Tuesday, look, we're going to trust you to do what's best. We know you guys are fighting. You want the same things we want. You want us to all be healthiest and playing our best basketball and get the most teams into the NCAA tournament we can. So I think that's going to be determined by the Pac-12, but I do think it's not going to be just like forced down anyone's throat. I think it's going to be really communicated well, and I think it'll be buy-in from both places. I think they're going to happen in that later in the week, so that Friday, Saturday, Sunday of the Pac-12 tournament. So there's going to be some variability depending on, you know, who wins and who loses. But I think they're going to be really prepared in advance and have had significant conversations like, if this, then this, and, you know, and really try to, you know, give people as much of a heads up and communicate. They've been really, really good about having our backs and putting us in the best position to be successful. So the coaching staff pretty much, coaching group all said, hey, we trust you. We know you'll have our back, so let's go play games and do as much as we can for the sake of the conference.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate that.
Of course.
Any more questions for Coach? Thanks, Coach.
Yeah, thank you all for being here. You guys know I appreciate you a ton.